There was no such wiretap activity mounted against the president-elect at the time, or as a candidate, or against his campaign. I can't speak for other Title III authorized entities in the government or a state or local entity.
Now, Larry, you've already said that you believe that the president was wiretapped, and I want to get to why you believe that. But conservatives have argued that Clapper has perjured himself in the past, and that includes Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy, who appeared on MSNBC earlier today.
This is the same Clapper that went before Congress and testified under oath.
It does include the FBI. He is aware of FBI counterintelligence. He was asked that in a follow-up.
But, Andrea, he's the same guy. You covered the story. He testified that there was no massive data collection of phone records of millions of Americans, and it was out and out perjury. And he later had to admit that he had not told the Congress the truth. And this is the guy they're hanging the hat on.
So, Larry, I have to ask you, does Chris Ruddy have a point? Should we take Clapper at his word?
Chris, my good friend, is an honest person. I know him for many, many years, and Clapper is not. If you look at Clapper's demeanor, so you played the clip, he's looking down. His eyes are shifting faster than Howdy Doody, and he did lie under oath. In fact, he should have been prosecuted for violating the surveillance laws. He should have been criminally indicted, but he's part of the Washington establishment. The establishment is afraid of these intelligence agencies. They can dig up dirt. And if you go to our website at freedomwatchusa.org, you'll see that twice in the past, we've gotten preliminary injunctions against the NSA. We also have cases against the CIA for violating the Fourth Amendment rights of American citizens not to have their telephonic metadata wiretapped without probable cause that they're communicating with terrorists or committing a crime. And that's exactly what's happened. There is no doubt that President Trump was wiretapped. He's absolutely right. And we know
why do you believe that, though? Because you said it right from the get-go. Why do you believe that so strongly? Because that's a huge accusation to make.
Well, with regard to this administration, it's not. I'm telling you, there are court rulings already that that's what they were doing to hundreds of millions of Americans. Also, we have a whistleblower by the name of Dennis Montgomery. Again, you can go to freedomwatchusa.org, and there was a Newsmax column that I wrote earlier today that was blasted out. It's on your website. This guy is a whistleblower, much more knowledgeable than even Snowden. And he came forward to the FBI, got him immunity with 47 hard drives, over 600 million pages of material. The FBI is supposed to be investigating. They buried it. Comey's buried it, the director, for 2 years. I'm having Bob Goodlatte, chairman of the Judiciary Committee, look into it, because you had judges surveyed, chief judges, you had Trump, you had even me back in 2007. Anybody who's a threat to this administration, they've gone after. And we know that there were FISA warrants, that's the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, the court issued with regard to people in and around Trump. So it's inconceivable that the president would not know that a presidential candidate and his men and women around him are being wiretapped by the intelligence agencies. And we can also remember the hostility of CIA Director John Brennan, who got into a shouting match with the president over the various airwaves. And listening to Andrea Mitchell on NBC, the most leftist of all the stations, frankly, actually cements the fact that something really happened here, because NBC has been in the camp of the Obama people from day one.
And you bring up a good point, and I want to go to this because you're kind of mentioning something that our own CEO Chris Ruddy pointed out on our parent website, and that's where he brought to the attention that the media seemed more outraged and shocked by Trump's allegation than they were of the actual idea that this could have happened. We have about 20 seconds for your response. Do you agree?
Well, that's because anything that President Trump says, or anybody around him, they're called liars. Now, they're not liars here, and Dennis Montgomery can prove that. We're going forward to the court where I got those 2 injunctions. We're going to be going to trial. I'm going to ask the judge for an emergency hearing in the next few days, because this thing needs to be in front of a federal judge that has a security clearance that can confirm these things. Chris is telling the truth. Other people are telling the truth. The president is telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. The president was wiretapped. I have no doubt in my mind.
Larry Klayman, thank you so much for your time here tonight on Newsmax Prime. It was a pleasure to have you.